Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Republicans are making increased gains in very key competitive swing states across the country, and this is absolutely huge news for Donald Trump. It's huge news for Republicans because it shows that the energy is directly behind them leading up to this election, and they are on the verge of flipping several key states. They've already flipped Florida. North Carolina is looking very good for them in terms of party registrations. They're still holding strong in Arizona, but Nevada released their data a couple of days ago, and Republicans have a clear edge. They're gaining on Democrats. The Democrat advantage is just 36,000 votes. That has been cut down significantly. It's been cut down 5,000 from the start of the year. And if this continues, there's a very good chance that Republicans, by Election Day in 2024, will have officially flipped the registration in Nevada. So now all they got to do is then get their people out to vote, and then they will have a clear advantage. The amount of independents is kind of obviously there. It's 50-50. They usually lean one way or another. But nevertheless, getting an increased advantage, or at least cutting down the Democrat advantage to zero, or flipping the state's registration total by Election Day, that is absolutely big-time stuff for the Republicans. And this is not the only state that this is happening in, but Nevada is only a 36,000 differential that very well could be zero, if not even a Republican advantage by Election Day. In 2020, Nevada was a state that Donald Trump fell short in by 33,500 votes. Adam Laxalt fell short in 2022 by 7,000 votes, and then Republicans went out there and they narrowly took the governorship and another statewide office or so. And if they're able to keep this up, that's going to be good news, and the state's going to be moving to the right. You look at the Vegas area, it's very different than some other big metro areas in terms of culture, in terms of demography. Clark County moved to the right in 2020. It moved to the right in 2022, and it will likely continue its rightward turn ahead of the 2024 presidential election, which is absolutely huge for Donald Trump. He's still doing well outstate. So long as you don't completely bottom out in Reno and you continue the gains in Clark County, you get that from an 8 to 9 point deficit, cut that down to a 5 to 6 point deficit. Nevada's yours. It's red, and it's only 6 electoral votes. It likely is not going to be the determining piece for Trump on his road to 270 from where he's at right now, or where his 2020 totals were. But still, would you like to have Nevada in your arsenal? Would you like to have it in your column? Yeah, because if you get Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, maybe you miss out on Georgia and Arizona, you're still at 270 if you get your 2020 states. But speaking of Pennsylvania, we have more good news out of Pennsylvania, because the voting registration edge for the Democrats is continuing to plummet. And we see what happened back in the fall when they implemented automatic voter registration, because so many people said this is the nail in the coffin for the Republicans and they were dooming. But I said at the time that people need to just understand that we could take advantage of this, and not everything is going to be gloom and doom, even if that's the intention of the Democrats when they signed the legislation into law. But apparently, when more people are registering to vote, they started to skew more Republican, and that's going to help Republicans out. You talk about these low propensity voters, a lot of them like Donald Trump. We need to get them out and voting, because that's how you win a presidential election. And you could start off by registering these voters. And as a result, the Democrat advantage in November has dipped by roughly around 30,000 votes. And you're looking at some of these registrations in some of these key counties, like Bucks County is on the verge of flipping. Republicans are gaining in Erie County. A lot of that Democrat advantage kind of just comes from these ancestral Democrats, and in Scranton, Lackawanna County, Republicans gained, and that's Joe Biden's area. That's where he grew up, but still it's moving to the right. Luzerne is on the verge of flipping, even though it's going to vote Republican anyways. The registrations are on the verge of flipping. Monroe Republicans are gaining. Northampton Republicans are gaining. That is absolutely huge out of the state of Pennsylvania, because this is a must-win state, in my opinion. Because if Donald Trump gets Pennsylvania, he gets 19 electoral votes that are virtually up for grabs. And we know that he's going to win all of his 2020 states more likely than not. He's going to win Texas. He's going to win Florida. He's going to win North Carolina, most likely. On top of that, he needs to go out there and he needs to get Georgia. And it seems like it's going to be more winnable now because Biden is kind of struggling to energize black voters. We saw that with the total overall turnout in the South Carolina primary, which might not exactly be the full trend in all the primaries nationwide. We still have to wait and see. But according to all the polling data, the enthusiasm metrics that we have, Biden is kind of struggling with a lot of black voters in terms of energy at this point, which is kind of why Trump's up in the polls in Georgia by, 8 percentage points? It's ridiculous. He's in the gutter there, Joe Biden is. So I think Trump gets Georgia. That's going to be enough to get him to, I believe, 251 or around there. So then he has to go out there and he has to pick off the state of Pennsylvania because that would get him to 270. That's why Pennsylvania is so important. So when you see these gains continue in Pennsylvania, that is also encouraging as well. But just talking about this state and its importance, Trump can still grow in a lot of these counties in the western part of the state. The whole Joe Biden, working class Joe, Scranton Joe LARP is completely off the table, and Donald Trump is making a targeted outreach to a lot of those Rust Belt, union worker type of voters, and that is going to be something that will help him out. But also in the northeastern part of the state as well, a lot of these shifts, I think you could see a big rebound in 2024 back to the Republican side in a lot of these counties, and they add up, and that could be enough to get Trump the victory in the state of Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, Trump could still gain there, or in terms of Biden's raw vote margin, that could dip. And even if Biden does pick up some votes in the Philadelphia suburbs, is that really enough to offset the rest of the state, including Philadelphia city proper? I'm not so sure that it would be, and that's why this state is going to be so hotly contested for either side, but Donald Trump needs to win it. I think he's the favorite. The polls have it as a virtual tie, and that's with a pro-Biden outlier in there. If you take that out of the equation, Trump is the narrow favorite, and I think he is the narrow favorite, and I think he understands how important the state of Pennsylvania truly is to the path of 270. And I'm sure we're going to have some people coming in here and say, what about the midterms? Well, Biden wasn't on the ballot in the midterms. He wasn't. Republicans did not exactly run the strongest of candidates, and that we know. Just like in 2018, they didn't run the strongest of candidates. Ironically, they did better in 2022 than 2018, but still 2020, when Trump was there, driving up turnout, being on the ticket, it's a razor-thin state. And you're going to see the same thing again, except Biden is extremely unpopular, especially in the Rust Belt. And as a result, that's going to doom him, and Donald Trump has this advantage. So when you look at the raw data showing people switching their registrations in Pennsylvania, switching their registrations in Nevada, it's a good sign. Now, a lot of states don't exactly have this data tracked. For example, Wisconsin, Michigan, they don't register by party. Georgia doesn't register by party, but where we see it, Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, and plenty of other states, even states like, New York, for example, you see Republican registrations increasing. This is not good news for Democrats because it shows where the tide is turning, and it's not turning in the direction that the Democrats would like it to turn in. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Half of you guys aren't subscribed, so make sure you do so, and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.